Hello, in this video I will go over how to factor and solve polynomials using the quadratic formula. So what is the quadratic formula? It's pretty much this: x equals opposite of b plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So yeah, go ahead and write that down on your notes. Basically, you can use the quadratic formula to factor and solve for zeros. Usually people who use the quadratic formula when simple factoring or the AC method doesn't work. Conditions for using quadratic formula. Must be a polynomial with only positive exponents. Um, Condition 2 must have exactly 3 terms, nothing more, nothing less. Condition 3, the a value must be equal to 1 or greater than 1. So an example would be like 2x squared plus me. An example would be like 2x squared plus 9x plus 4. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. We're gonna actually we're gonna solve this one. So we're not actually gonna factor, we're gonna do an extra step. We're just gonna solve for it. Okay, so let's start with example 1. We have 8x squared minus 24x squared plus 18. Can we use the quadratic formula? Yes, because we have 3 terms. And the highest power is 2. So yes. So let's first figure out our A, B, and C. So my A value is 8. My B value is negative 24. And my C value is 18. So if you recall, the quadratic formula is x equals opposite of b plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so what's the opposite of b? If my b is negative 24, the opposite of that would be positive 24 plus or minus root b squared. What's negative 24 squared? That is positive 576 minus 4 times AC. So A is 8 and C is 18 all over 2A. So that's 24 plus or minus negative 4 times 8 times 18 is negative 576. Let me double check that. Negative 4 times 8 times, yes. And then on the bottom, it's 16. You have 24 plus or minus 0, because 576 minus 576 is 0, all over 16. Okay, so if we simplify this, this is 24 plus or minus square root of 0 is 0, all over 16. So 24 plus or minus 0 is just 0. And then, yeah, 16. And that can be reduced by, that can be reduced by what? 4. So that's 6. And then 4. Divide that by 2. So that's 3 halves. So your 0 is 3 half. If you wanted to factor it, how would you write 3/2? Well, if x is 3, if 3/2 is your solution, the factor would be like 2x minus 3, right? And I think it's going to be twice because we should have 2. Okay, so even though I said not to factor it, I just wanted to show you that this would be the factored form. But we actually just want to solve for it. So our final answer is x equals 3/2. Okay, go ahead and pause and let's move on to the next one. Example 2, use quadratic formula to solve. So can we use quadratic formula? Yes, because there's 3 terms, right? The highest power is 2. So let's first figure out our a, b, and c. My a is 4. My b is -12. And then my c is 9. Okay, so x is opposite of b, which is positive 12, plus or minus root. Here, b square. I could do that in my head. B square is -12 square is 144. Minus 4 times AC. I can't do that in my head, so I'm just going to write it out. A is 4 and C is 9. All over 2A. Okay, so that simplifies as 12 plus or minus -4 times 4 times 9 is -144. All over 8. So that's 12 plus or minus 0 all over 8. And 0 is square root of 0 is 0, right? So it's just really 12 plus or minus 0 over 8, which is really 12 over 8. That can be reduced by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Yeah, I guess it's the same answer as the first one. Okay, so your 0 is x equals 3/2. Go ahead and pause to write down any work, and then let's move on to the next one. Example 3, use quadratic formula to solve. So first check if can we. I believe so because we have 3 terms and the power is 2. Okay, so what's my a value? My a value is actually 1. My b value is 8, and my c value is 6. So quadratic formula is x equals opposite of b, which is -8, plus or minus root b square. I could do that in my head, right? 8 square is 64. Minus 4 times AC. So A is, I can't do that in my head, so I'll just write it out. A is 1, C is 6. All over 2 times 1. So that's -8 plus or minus root. What's -4 times 6? -24. Okay, good. So I thought it would be 64. No, it's 64 and then minus 24 all over 2. So that's -8 plus or minus 64 minus 24 is 40 all over 2. So this is a good one because I You can't take the square root of 40, it's not a perfect square, so you're gonna have to break it down. So what two numbers multiply 40? 10 and 4, right? And then 4 could be broken down as 2 and 2. What are prime numbers? 10 is not prime, it could be broken down as 5 and 2. Okay, now what we're gonna do, since there's no number here, there actually is, it's invisible 2. So what that 2 means, you just circle pairs of 2s. So this is a pair, and that's it. So this 2 and 2 just becomes 2. And then inside you're left with 5 and 10. 2 is 10. So that's -8 plus or minus. And then it's going to be 2 radical 10 all over 2. And then you're going to divide each term by 2. So starting with -8, -8 divided by +2 is -4 plus or minus. 2 over 2 cancels, you're just left with radical 10. So you actually have two x values. One of them, you can express it as -4 plus radical 10. And then the other one is -4 minus radical 10. Or sometimes your teacher will like this. This is not wrong either. Okay, go ahead and pause, and then let's move on to the next one. The last one. Okay, so example 4, we have 1/2 x squared plus 13 equals 5x. So this one, this one does not have a 0 on the right side, right? So actually what you could do is, if you want, you could get rid of the fraction first. So we could multiply everything by 2. So 2 times 1/2 x squared is just disappears. 2 times 13 is 26. 2 times 5x is 10x. And then let's get one side 0, so we're going to subtract 10x. Okay, so now you're left with x squared minus 10x plus 26 equals to 0. So can we use quadratic formula? Yes, because we have 3 terms, and the highest power is 2. Perfect. So let's figure out our a, b, and c. So my a is 1, my b is -10, my c is 26. So x equals opposite of b, which is 10, plus or minus root b squared. Well, b is -10, so b squared is 100, minus 4 times ac, so that's 1, and c is 26, all over 2a. Okay, so that's 10 plus or minus -4 times 26 is -104. So you have 100 minus 104 all over 2. Let me double check my work. Yes. So what's 100 minus 104? That's -4 all over 2. Now you can't have a negative in the radical, because you just can't. So what you're going to do is take back that negative becomes an I. So it's 10 plus or minus I, and then it's square root of 4 all over 2. So let me put it right here. This simplifies as 10 plus or minus square root of 4 is 2, and then don't forget you have that I all over 2. So if you divide each term by 2, so 10 divided by 2 is 5, plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is 1i. So your two x values is, one of them is 5 plus I, and the other one is 5 minus I. Okay. Okay, so that wraps it up for this section. The next one will be a quiz. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.